So the iPhone 14 series has been out for half a year already, and the biggest, baddest one in the lineup, the 14 Pro Max, has been a force to be reckoned with. But truth be told, it's just another incremental upgrade from last year's 13 Pro Max, and that's fine to be honest. Most users aren't really looking to upgrade year after year. Now, yearly upgrade users do exist though, and this phone is better in almost every way, but we're at an interesting point in time now, with this being an incremental upgrade and with leaks and rumors about the upcoming iPhone 15 series gaining ground. Where exactly does that put this phone, and how does all of this affect buying decisions? Now let me get this out of the way. There's no question that this is a very good phone. As usual, it's got top tier build quality, very premium materials, and it's got nice heft to it. It's not the most comfortable to hang on to though. While flat edges work out very well with something like the iPhone 13 mini, they make for more unwieldiness at this size. This phone is massive, but that's the point. And I feel most buyers know what they're getting into by now. But over time, I have seen a number of users switch to smaller iPhones, and understandably so. It's definitely not the easiest phone to use. Regardless, you're getting some of, if not the best haptics in the game, loud, great sounding quality speakers, solid clicky buttons, and a massive camera module that is notorious for not only collecting smudges and a ton of dust, but also causes a wobble when the phone is placed flat on a desk. Anyway, the display is probably one of my favorite things about this phone. Of course, it's very high quality, it's crisp and colorful, and gotta love the high refresh rate, so it's buttery smooth. The bezels are smaller too, but it also gets incredibly bright. 2000 nits peak brightness is pretty darn bright, so it's perfect for outdoor use, and it just crushes what previous iPhones could do. Speaking of display, when Apple finally implemented Always On display, there was controversy, naturally. Apple took Always On pretty literally and basically dimmed the lock screen. A lot of people liked that and still do. Personally, I prefer more subtlety, so I'm really glad they added the option to disable the wallpaper entirely. I do like this version of Always On display though, with all of the widgets and contextual information I need front and center, and I never experienced any bad battery drain or anything like that. And even with the wallpaper enabled, the battery drain has gotten better with updates, so that's a plus. As for battery life, it's been good. Still not as good as what we got with the 13 Pro Max, and it's definitely not as good as the best battery life I've ever experienced on a phone with the 11 Pro Max. Like I said though, it is good, very solid in fact. It's dependable, and I don't really have any complaints here. With my normal usage, I can get a full day's use with 7+ hours of screen on time no problem, and with light casual use, I can stretch the battery to last a day and a half. Even under heavier loads, the battery remains strong and it doesn't require a charge until the evening. Now your mileage may vary, and you can always disable Always On display to help out. Oh, and for the battery health police out there, this iPhone's battery health is currently sitting at 99%. I'm currently on iOS 16.3.1, and overall it's been solid. I think it has had a hand in better battery life, it's fixed a couple of bugs, but unfortunately I did experience some weird Wi-Fi issues where it would constantly disconnect and reconnect, or tell me that my network isn't connected to the internet when it clearly was, and I guess a lot of users have been experiencing the same, so that's annoying. I ran into some random app freezes here and there, as well as some interesting visual glitches, but nothing that won't be fixed, I'm sure. iOS 16.4 is currently in beta, and iOS 17 beta should be here in a few months. Other than that, it's the iOS you're familiar with at this point. It's got a lot to like, especially if you're deep in the ecosystem. It's secure, and it's got powerful features like shortcuts, for example, which is something I definitely need to explore a lot more. Now, even though iOS is very secure, it still can't protect you from every cyber attack, malware, or tracker, especially if you start browsing the internet outside of your home. So what I always do when I first use any device or an iPhone is install a VPN to better protect my data and help me stay anonymous online. My go-to has always been Surfshark, because it's the cheapest option out there and has a very reliable service trusted by millions. Plus, signing up costs less than $2.50 per month, and since I can use it across all of my devices to make everything safe and private, I think it's a huge steal. If I'm at a hotel or a coffee shop and need to use their public Wi-Fi, Surfshark will not allow anyone to see what I'm browsing or know where I'm at, and any hackers will be stopped. Or when I can't seem to access certain websites like Netflix or specific YouTube videos due to any geo blocks, Surfshark lets me easily change my virtual location so that I can access those sites or videos. Even when I want to get the best deals when shopping online, Surfshark stops websites from overcharging me just because of my location or device. There are so many reasons months to start using Surfshark. I'll even give you one more. If you click the first link in the description and enter the promo code HTM, you'll get an extra 83% off and 3 additional months for free. That's a pretty spectacular deal. Plus, there's no real risk in trying it out since Surfshark has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so don't wait. Sign up today and start browsing safely and privately at an affordable rate. Now, when it comes to performance, other than those bugs I mentioned, the phone flies, as expected. Nowadays, CPUs, GPUs, hardware, and software optimization have all gotten so good that phones not only last longer, but the noticeability of performance gains, especially when it comes to normal everyday use, seems to decrease year after year. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Apple's latest chip is better and faster, yes, but will you notice a huge difference from last year's processor? Probably not, but it does speak to more efficiency, optimization, and even greater longevity, which is a big plus for sure. This phone will last a long time. It does get quite warm though under heavy load, mostly while gaming and watching high-res video. Call quality has been good and cell signal has been a little more spotty than I would like, but it's been fine. When it comes to the dynamic island, it's a bit frustrating how it is smaller than the notch, but it's placed lower, causing it to interrupt whatever you're looking at more easily. But it's been pretty neat, and I gotta hand it to Apple for the S-tier animations as usual. I think it's cool seeing different bits of information, audio visualizers, live updates for things like timers. It acts as a nice shortcut to whatever media is playing and whatnot, though I don't think it's there quite yet as far as being a super useful function that significantly changes how I interact with the phone, and it's definitely not something I can't live without. I don't consider it a gimmick though. I think that's pretty unfair. There's actually a lot of potential here. It's just something we're gonna have to give more time, and we'll see what third-party developers can come up with. So with these cameras, yes, this is one of the best systems on the market, and point and shoot shots come out looking good at 12 megapixels by default. But it's not a perfect set of cameras, of course. Some shots can come out looking surprisingly overexposed and even over sharpened. I'm not a fan of how aggressive the processing can get at times. And I'm no professional, so I'll admit I'm not exactly sure why the 48 megapixel mode is locked to being used with just Pro RAW. I know that there's a shortcut that can help out with that, because Pro RAW shots, which are great for real photographers by the way, are huge in file size, and if you plan on using this, you're going to need a ton of storage. Either way, the 48 megapixel shots come out looking very good. The 2x mode is great. It's something that I found myself using more often, and overall you just retain a lot of detail you miss out on in the 12 megapixel mode. The video quality is still the best in the game, especially with audio recording in the video. You can argue that the S23 Ultra has edged it out, especially when it comes to stabilization and the myriad of options available, but there's no doubt that the video results from top to bottom are fantastic and really drive the point home of this being the ultimate content creator tool. I really hope to see Pro and Pro Video modes for these Pro phones soon. To me, that's very overdue. So is the iPhone 14 Pro Max worth the upgrade from the 13 Pro Max? The easy answer is no, and I think we knew this already. Unless you absolutely love the idea of Dynamic Island and you really want crash detection and satellite connectivity. Two things I'm very glad I haven't needed, by the way, and I hope you never do too, but they are nice to have for peace of mind, and they have proven to be useful. In my eyes, it's perhaps only worth an upgrade if you're on an iPhone 12 series or older. But this thing still starts at $1,100 with just 128 gigabytes of storage, and at that point, you could save a few hundred and grab a 13 Pro Max, which is still a great phone and has a lot of what makes the 14 Pro Max so good. Or just wait for the iPhone 15 series coming in a few months. There are a number of ways this could go. Simply put, the 14 Pro Max is a great phone. There's no denying that. It's the best iPhone so far, and I do enjoy using it. But with where we're at right now, it's not a runaway winner that you need to drop everything for to go get, unless, like I said, you're on a much older iPhone and either can't or don't want to wait until this fall. I'll leave it up to you. Let me know what you think of the 14 Pro Max and the current state of the iPhone, and let's talk about it in the comments. Also, I tagged the smartphone that I used in this video, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, within the YouTube product tag feature sponsored by YouTube themselves, so check it out. Drop an Apple emoji in the comments if you made it to this point of the video. Hope you enjoyed. It's been Zach, and thanks for watching.